Good afternoon, everybody. This is Phil. I'm doing a quick video, which is kind of a hodgepodge again. I love these bar keeps I purchased. I got 5 of them in the mail 2 weeks ago, and I just was able to pick them up the other day, being very busy at work. And so I have a total of 10 bar keeps. The other ones up top have the Magnum cylinders in there, so there's some diversity. And I saw a video today, and it was how Heritage Arms is a scam, and the guy just kept on pulling out so many of the different Heritage revolvers. One had a 16-inch barrel, some were shorter, some were the I think Rough Rider, and then there was the carbine with a stock. And it was pretty comical because it wasn't a scam. He just was showing how addictive they are because they're inexpensive. And they're single action. And you can say, oh, they're single action. You're not going to defend yourself with that. That might be true. And if you have something better and double action, go with it. Okay? No one's saying that you're going to sit there and fight a war with these. Okay? But like I said, I bought 2 at first, the top 2. Then I bought 3 inexpensive, like a month later. I forgot the name of the gun store, but they were at $139 a piece. And so when I had a chance, after I bought the first 2, I ordered Magnum cylinders and new grips. Okay. When I bought both of the first 2, one of the firing pins was damaged. And so I sent it in, and they sent back a whole new gun with a new cylinder. It was only 22 long rifle, but I already ordered by then the new grips and the 22 Magnum. So as soon as I got the gun back, I believe it was this one, the all black one. Beautiful little handgun in all black. I'm kind of a utilitarian kind of guy. I like wood grips and the older look, wood and black, wood and blue steel. I can even go with some of the fake tarnish like this one, but that's not well, that is mine, but that's not my favorite one. My favorite one is this one, the all black bar keep with 22 Magnum. And, I think about schemes, not like scheming, but schemes like a schematic, like a system, like a way you would do things. And I bought 5 extra of these with the United States flag because they were just too fun to buy. Okay, I already shot the first 2 with the Magnums in it. And dare I say, if I'm squaring off with someone and I can get to it, these Magnums are no joke. Okay. They do what you want it to do. It's single action. Yes, you might have to work with the safety a little. Okay. You can carry that with the safety off and just be safe. Make sure if you got a holster on your side, make sure nothing hits the hammer. Okay. Make sure you are safe in everything you do. These are very safe guns, and with rimfire, who knows if a hammer just touches it. That's the main reason. That would be with any revolver and rimfires. Okay? So you see right here, there's the safety. The guns are on safe. They should be anyways. And so I was like, okay, I ordered basically 10 guns in a year period. And I changed out 2 with Magnum cylinders. I got practically a new gun, brand new gun back with a brand new 22 long rifle cylinder. So right now I have 3 extra 22 long rifle cylinders for all these. And it was $139 a handgun. So 6 rounds of 22, if you can, let's say, defend yourself against an adversary with 1 or 2 of those rounds, okay, and you make them hit, there is going to be not much of an argument after that. Okay, I'm not saying use these walking around and for full defense capabilities. But my thinking was, okay, my sons, who I've raised a good portion of their young lives now, they're with their mother up in Winchester, Virginia now. And they have a bunch of brothers coming up now too, an extended family. Okay. What if we have a homestead eventually and I need to arm everybody in the family as soon as possible? Okay. I would basically feel comfortable teaching them, like they're already learning, how to use 22s and single action. This was a cute gift I bought for myself. This is an actual 22 short. I forgot who makes it. But this was for like $149 at a pawn shop. And it was more curioso. And I love stuff like that. Like I've said in many other videos, I love all guns. It says 22 short. I don't think you can try a 22 long rifle in here. But I threw this in the mix because I just love cheap, inexpensive guns that work. This little guy, I have unloaded to show you basically how the barrel swings open like this. But just curioso oddities and just little artifacts from the past. I love stuff like this. Pardon me. And so I threw this in there. This is very small. Even with my hands, you can see it's basically the size of a finger. It's like, no, I don't mean this as self-defense. I just mean something as, okay, if there is an enemy force coming to lay waste to civilians, okay, not blaming anybody, I'm not threatening anybody. What I am saying is when my family is defending itself, how would I? Okay, this isn't my arsenal. This isn't the most of my arsenal. Of course not. Okay, but if there's inexpensive weapons that could be used, okay, if let's say a terrorist group like Antifa marches down and they try to firebomb where I live, okay, and my kids were in between or in the house and in between me and safety and them attacking us, what would I do? Okay. I would say, okay, with all the holsters that I'm going to buy for these, I bought a few of them. Put the holsters on your hip, carry this around the house until the threat is gone. Okay? If I go outside and I monitor a post to protect my house or my apartment building, I'm going to have something more than this. But this is something that they can arm themselves with at a moment's notice. And again, they know how to seek cover by then. They know how to shoot single action fairly accurately and fairly efficiently. And in essence, basically 7 other brothers and sisters are armed. So that's how I look at it. I think these are so cool for the money. $139 of them with my tax check rebate. I bought 5 of them this year, so it's been like within a year I got all of them. And I bought I called up the same people that I bought the originals from. I said, "You still got them? I saw your listing on Guns America, and I thought I was sold because you sold them all to me." And they said, "Yep, we still got more." So they said they had 5 left. I said, "Wait till tomorrow. I'll call you back tomorrow." So when I budget shop, and some things are for curioso, so move these out of the way. I saw this video this morning with this guy. I forgot the name of the guy's channel, but I had to subscribe to him after that because he just kept on pulling out like 10 or 11 different Heritage Arms revolvers. I mean, all the makes, all the models. He was talking about how he gave his wife one, and He gave his children one. I think he got one for his grandma or, Mima or something. And so I was like, yeah, you got me beat. So I said, thank you very much for the eye candy. So I spoke a couple videos ago, about the Ruger Blackhawk. And I didn't like it. It was so big and unwieldy that I was thinking, man, on a full chamber with the hammer down, would it be safe? And it was so heavy, I was upset, and I traded back in. Then I got the Glock 43, and I got another inexpensive gun. So I got two guns out of it, but it was well under the amount I paid for that Ruger Blackhawk. So I was at the gun store and I saw this, and this is 5.5 inch EEA Bounty Hunter, and it's basically a 6-shooter, and I got 44 specials in right now. Now, I'm not saying I would even carry this around for self-defense, especially a carry concealed option. But for self-defense in a hunker-down situation, I don't mean barricade situation, I mean where you're protecting your homestead. This on my side, my Rossi lever action 92 needed a sidearm with it. So I purchased this more recently, over a month period, $400. When that Ruger Blackhawk cost over $800 and change by the time I was walking out the store in layaway. Single action also. It looks like my Virginia Dragoon. Piece of machinery is beautiful. It's almost in my color scheme and utilitarian look I like. Black and some wood grips. I'll probably be able to put something on this in the future or get better grips for it. But this was single action, and I would know how to use this too. Instead of having 44 Magnum, I have 44 Special, which is definitely a lighter load, and it's a marketable difference when you're sitting there trying to shoot a little faster. With single action, I would not be planning on shooting quick, but it's something about the 44 Magnum on your hip with your long gun. Okay, whether it's the 44 Rossi 92 lever action, or it's your AR-15, or it's a 306, or it's a sub 2000, Gen 2 with block mags, 32 rounders of 9mm. Something to be said for this being useful. If there's vehicles coming your way you don't want on your property, this 44 Magnum would take out an engine. And you wouldn't necessarily have to harm anybody. But if they were invading your property and you knew that they were shooting at you, or there was some scrape beforehand, and they want what you have on your property, this is like a second rifle. And it is formidable once you point and aim and use it at the target you are trying to destroy, including engine blocks. They used to say they shoot and break engine blocks. They do. But you don't need a break in engine block to disable a vehicle. Okay, all you have to do is hit the radiator and disable a few components with a big round, and they're sunk in the water. There's all kinds of applications with a 44 Magnum. 44 Special I have in here now. I'm in an apartment setting, so I don't plan on 44 Magnums going through the walls. But I also learned, and this is why I purchased this, is the 44 Russian round also fits in this, which is even smaller than the 44 Smith & Wesson Special round. So I was like, wow, okay, if I can order those in the future, 44 Magnum is basically $50 a box of 50. 44 Smith & Wesson Special right now is about, you can get a good deal for a box of 50 at about $35 to $40 a box. So those go into my Rossi lever action, and they can also go in this now. This is probably the only 44 I'm going to buy in my lifetime ever again, unless I see a super good deal. But let's face it, $400, a couple layaway payments, and you have some power if you ever feel you need it. Okay? And it's also like a second rifle because of the power in the cartridge. So, again, I'm talking about different schemes here. And this will actually be my new nightstand gun. Okay? I know how this works. I know how the Virginia Dragoon worked with 44 Special. It's a formidable round. I don't plan on more than 2 rounds in any gunfight with this. And I can wield it. I got bigger hands, and I'm not afraid of this one. I don't know why I didn't like that Ruger Blackhawk. I don't know why. I didn't like any of the shoulder holsters I was looking at to be safe. So, in essence, I brought out the 44 Magnum today because a good friend of mine passed away on April 3rd, and I'm very upset about it. His name was Dante, and to give you a little story about me and my friend, back in the mid-1990s when I was a cop, I worked in Anacostia around different neighborhoods that my friend lived at. Okay? There was nothing he did bad I ever knew him for. I never knew him personally. But he has a very unique name. Okay? Dante and Dwayne. I won't give you his last name. And he passed away. Again, a few days ago. He called me up about 3 weeks ago, or he actually texted me and he said, "Can you call me?" And when I called him, he told me he was in hospice, and he sounded sedated. And he said, "Yeah, they did something to my liver. And I don't know what." And it didn't sound like him at all. So I was like, "My friend, where you're at, that's end of life care. What is going on?" And he said, "I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing." Just then, someone knocked on my apartment door. I said, "Hold on, Dwayne." And I went to answer the door. It was one of my packages for clothes I ordered. And then when I came back, he was off the phone. So I texted him back, and he said, "Get me back later. I'm in bad straits." He said he said in so much on the text, he said he was at the door referring to death. And then, but then God said, "No, go back." And so that's why he texted me. And I still had no idea what was going on. And so I texted him back, "Okay, I'll speak to you soon, brother. Get some rest." I texted him here and there, and he was doing all right. And then all of a sudden, his cousin, who I sold ammo to before, a really nice guy, his relative called and said, "Phil, I'm sorry, but Dante passed away." What I think transpired was he called me first before that, or I called him first, and I asked him what was really going on because Dante sounded sedated. So, anyways, my buddy had something wrong with his liver, and I believe it is vaccination related. And then he drank on top of that, and it was a bad combination for his liver. More recently in the last year, possibly having to do with thrombosis or clotting. I don't know, but his kin told me, yeah, it has to do with drinking or something to do with his liver. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. And then I got another call within a week. My friend passed away. But anyways, back to us meeting. Me and my police officer buddies, we jumped out in 2700 King Avenue, where the liquor stores are, across from the St. Elizabeth's entrance on King Avenue, and we ran off a bunch of weed guys that were, sell dime bags there all day, and the crazy people that would get drunk, and they would just sit there in front of the liquor store and shake or ask people for money, go in there, get more liquor, drink. And so we ran him off. I sat down in the hoopty with my partner, and he said, I wonder what the Sector 3 guys are doing, just down the road, Sector 3. Really bad. It's all bad area around these areas, but really bad area, one of the worst places on the East Coast. Valley Green, Condon Terrace area, Washington, D.C. And he said, I wonder what the Sector 3 guys were doing. So I was like, oh, I got to turn on my radio, my handheld. No sooner did I say that, and the Sector 3 guys were running a name. Dante Dwayne. And again, I'm not going to say his last name. I was like, man, that's just a cool sounding name. Yeah, I guess they have somebody stop, but it was nothing bad. I had almost a spiritual feeling about it back then because I remember that name. And I'll explain in a second why that name is important. So I was like, man, and I remember saying to my partner, that's a cool name. You'll never forget that name. And that's all that conversation entailed. Well, anyways, fast forward to 2014 after being homeless and 3 surgeries, and I'm no longer a police officer, a decade or more now. And I applied to Safety Service Patrol, and I did all their training being hired. And what a beautiful gun. That is a beautiful piece of machinery. So anyways, my supervisor says, yeah, your field training officer is Dante Dwayne and last name. I'm like, no effing way. I know that name. I remember the exact time I heard that name for the first time. So a couple months pass, and I'm still doing emergency training, and I'm still going with like other people on the highway, and not really my FTO. And then one day I come in and they say, yeah, go up the highway at this such and such location. You'll pick up the FTO because his beat or his driving area is actually all of Prince William County. And I'm down in Stafford, right below Prince William County. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go up there and get him. And I'm kind of nervous, I'm like, man, Southeast thug, me and him going to have words. Me and him, I remember the name. He ain't going to believe me. I didn't think it was anything bad. But I said, I know that name, and I'm going to meet the guy. I'm saying this to myself. So Dwayne got in the vehicle, and we're driving around him, and just small talk, and he's not saying anything bad. I'm not saying anything bad. I said, dude, would you believe me if I told you? Dude, I know you, man. And he said, what? And he kind of played it off in so many words. And I said, yeah, Valley Green area. And he's like creasing himself between the seat and the door on the far side of the cab. I'm like, no, nothing bad like that. I heard your name one time, ran over the air. And I think police stopped you for whatever reason. Maybe they stopped a bunch of other guys that were up to no good. It was nothing negative. Seriously, I never thought of it negative. I just remember your name, and it sounded like a powerful name. Such a cool name. I said, oh, yeah, but Condon Terrace. And he looked at me kind of strange. I was like, no, I'm serious, man. Hey, there was enough wrong to go around in Southeast. I know that. You know that. And hey, man, you made it out, and we had more and more talk throughout the day of a 10-hour shift. And after that, the ice was kind of broken. And him being a tough, strong as an ox, shorter black guy. I mean, stocky, but not like Adonis muscular. But he was strong as an ox, and anybody that knows Dante Dwayne would tell you, yeah, he was a tough little fire plug. And so we had a blast for another 5 months, us together. For some reason, they just made us like partners. Like the old days as being a police officer in a bad city, they partner you up. They don't sit there and send you out in a scout car by yourself. They partner you up. So anyways, we had a blast. We talked about scrapes he got into with other dudes trying to shoot him, all the way down on the other side of Wheeler Avenue, down at the corner of Condon Terrace. And he's like, man, I'm tired of this crap. So Phil, I ain't lying to you, man. I had to go in and get my 50 Action Express. I said, man, that's a piece of machinery. He said, yeah, Desert Eagle, that bad man Majamba man was flying off, man, and no one bothered me the rest of the night. And I was like, yeah, wow, man. All the time I'd be driving up and down Mississippi Avenue where the borderline is between Sector 2 and Sector 3, and I'd hear nothing but gunfire all night. I mean, it was hopping. But a lot of times people were shooting off, and it wasn't like anybody was getting shot. It was like they were just busting off, practicing. He said, yeah, a lot of that. And he said, I was one too. So anyways, we developed a friendship that was tight. I mean, really tight. We talked about handguns. We talked about purchasing different handguns. Before the Democrat takeover 2 years ago, it was probably about 2015, 2016. I sold him two little 25s because he was looking at them when I was showing him some of my collection. He's like, man, those are so cool. So the little 25 FIEs. And we'd talk about where we can get better ammo, where we can get large amounts of ammo online, being a prepper, and so on and so forth. And we just had a blast. And then he stopped doing safety service patrol. However it worked out, he said he broke up with his woman and she was going to have his baby. And then all of a sudden he was in Maryland. And then kin that raised him, when they could, when he was younger, from a broken family too, I think grandparents, they passed away. And I don't know the whole story of all that, but it was just very sad. And about a year ago, he called me and he was like, man, I was, he sounded kind of inebriated. He sounded upset because someone stole his phone. And I was like, man, I don't drink anymore, dude. You're talking about these guys that did you wrong or they stole a phone and whatnot. And I'm like, I don't know about that, but why are you hanging out on a stoop anyways? Oh, I'm working too, man, but I was talking to my buddy and get this, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, man, come back to Virginia, dude. Come back to Virginia, Dwayne. You come back here, man. I'll even try to I'll help you with rent until you find a job. Okay, try to rent a room. I'll give you money to start renting a room. Come back here and start all over again. Clear your head up, man. That's how much I love my brother, man. My brother, Dwayne. And I could tell in the last year he was not in good straits. And he was kind of upset about the world. And so now I'm not judging Dwayne, but man, he was a good mother hunchy, man. He would do anything for you. And he saved me one time on the highway. One of the many times we both looked out for each other. Don't get me wrong, but we were at the back of we were at the truck. We set up in the middle lane. I set up cones all the way down behind us, 100 yards, nice taper right in the middle of the lane. So everybody could go left or everybody can go right. And we were tired of sitting, so he got out and walked in the back of the truck and smoked a Newport. And I had a big dip of tobacco, so we're just sitting there looking at all the traffic flying to our left and to our right. And then we were pretty much done, and I was like, okay, I'll walk to my side. And he grabbed my freaking collar. grabbed my collar, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude? Man, this big semi, like a hair from where my nose just was about to get taken off." But I was literally less than a foot away, not kidding, less than a foot away from a semi going about 70 miles an hour. And I just walked too close to the cones, and he did take out the cones, actually. His blast from the semi knocked over all the cones, and one of the cones flipped with the air blast and hit me in the shins, in the back of my calves. And I was like, God damn, man, thanks. You know, it was like one of those things like, man, that could have killed me. I feel like a dumbass, but thank you anyways. So that's what I was thinking about my brother, man. My brother, Dante. His kin call him Dante, or they know him as Dante. I will always know him as Dwayne. And I butcher that name too, writing it sometimes when I was texting him. Hey, Dwayne, with a D-U-A-N-E or a D-U-A-Y-N-E. You know, it's spelled D-E-W-A-Y-N-E. I believe some of his good friends call him Wayne too. You know, as a shorter version of Dwayne. But rest in peace, my brother, Dante, Dwayne. I'll always know you as my best friend, man, and I love you. Thank you, and have a good day, guys. Take care.